Saints families, and welcome to this brand new edition of Our Comfy Church. Now you might have heard the rumblings that today, this Sunday, is pretty special because of course, it's Advent. And with Advent means it's a whole new liturgical year. So like any New Year's celebration, we've got to do something big, something exciting. And so now we're going to take Comfy Church and take it to a whole nother level. So get comfy, maybe put on something blue for Advent, like a hat or a shirt, and let's dive in to all that Comfy Church has in store for us this Advent Sunday. So along with a cool new intro, we're going to do something special to mark this Advent season. And we're going to do it using Storymaker's Zine. Now if you haven't stopped by All Saints yet, come on down and pick up your very own zine. Now I hear what you're saying. What is a zine? Well, zine's actually pretty cool. It's like the Bible. It's a comic book. It's something to draw on. It's a whole arts and crafts into one simple book. It is awesome. And we're going to use it for this whole journey through Advent as we come and approach the Christmas season. But not yet, of course. So if you haven't stopped by All Saints yet, come on down and pick up your very own zine right at our offices, and you can safely and soundly pick it up yourself. No one else has been around it, no one else has touched it, and we'll make sure it's COVID safe. But of course, if you'd prefer, we're happy to mail them out to you directly. So, even just put your name in the chat and say you need one, and we'll make sure to get you one soon. But if you don't have one today, that's okay, because we're going to show each of our pages throughout our Comfy Church service, and you'll be able to add in sort of arts and crafts portion as soon as you get your own zine. But make sure you do, because you're not going to want to miss out on all that these zines have to offer. But enough of all this talking. Let's get into our lesson for the day. As we open up our zines, let's see where we begin. In our journey through Advent, we've got 4 Sundays. So that means we're going to go all the way through our first Sunday today to our second, our third, and our fourth. It looks like each Sunday has a special meaning and purpose. It's kind of like those Advent wreaths that we usually have. Maybe you have one at home where you light a candle for each Sunday as we get closer and closer to Christmas. If you have one of those now, why don't you go ahead and take it out and light that first candle as we begin our first Sunday with a message of hope. Awesome. Well, now let's turn the page as we go to page 11 and check out our picture of the day. Wow. Can you guys see this? I wonder what it is. It could be a lot of things, couldn't it? I kind of see maybe some water, or maybe that's a field. I don't know. What do you guys think it is? Maybe write in the chat and give us some thoughts about what it is this image could be that we're looking at. Interesting. Did you write your answer yet? Maybe our verse for the day will help us figure out what exactly this picture is. And in order to do that, I'm going to ask a good friend of mine to help do our lesson for us today. So take it away.
Hey, Comfy Church.
Today, we're going to be reading your lesson. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and darkness.
God spoke all of life into existence.
God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good.
God created a light that could not be overcome by darkness. The light appeared in the beginning and came into the world as the truest of lights, so that whoever came into contact with the true light would become children of God.
Bye, everybody.
Wasn't that a great reading? Thanks for helping us out. But okay, now I see as we turn the page, our story is making a bit more sense. Take a look at our next page as we read through our comic strip. So first, there's that void. Maybe a beginning of just space. And of course, we just heard in the beginning was the Word. And God created the heavens and the earth from darkness. So that must be what this darkness is. Okay, and then there's the light. That makes sense. And wow, you start to see some creation out of that darkness. And that must be a field. And maybe some water streaming by. And then on the next page, I see something like coral, grass, and the sun, maybe a moon. So God spoke all of life into existence and then saw that it was good from this light. This week's story is so interesting. The verses that we get are one from the Old Testament and one from the New Testament, but they're both talking about the light. In the Old Testament, we're hearing the story of God and His creation of, well, everything. He says, "Let there be light." And there was light. And then it shone over all that God was creating. The earth, the plants, the animals, the creation, even you. And God looked and said, "It was good." You are good. And that's pretty great. But then when we look at our New Testament lesson, we hear a story of another light. And in fact, it's John the Baptist who's proclaiming that the light is to come into the world. And that, well, the light is God. But John the Baptist wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about Jesus. And in this Advent time, as we lead up to Christmas, we're waiting for that light to come into the world again. Can you imagine what it would be like to just be stuck in darkness? Probably wouldn't be really great. We would just be sitting there, not able to see or know what's going on. But fortunately, like our story tells us today, God is never going to leave us alone in the darkness. And in fact, Jesus has come to be the light so that even when the darkness tries to overcome us, the light will never be put out. And it's that light that gives us our hope that even in times when we're upset because we can't go to school like usually, you can't see our friends as normal, we can't even go to church like we would normally like to. Jesus is still there. Our hope is still there, and that the light will always, always be there. So now that we've heard our story, I've got a few questions for you. So we know that in our reading, when God said, "Let there be light," light was created. So I wonder, if you could shout anything into existence, what might it be? Let there be Oreos. Let there be football. Let there be gummy bears for everyone. I don't know. I've got a long list of things I might shout, and I bet you do too. Well, why don't you open up your zine to page 16, take out maybe some markers or colored pencils, and draw what you might shout into being. And if you don't have your zine yet, or you just want to share some of the fun, go ahead and comment what you would shout. into existence. Let there be ice cream sundaes. Go ahead. Tell us what you might shout. And when you're done with that, we kind of gave it away earlier, but my other question is, what do you think is the ultimate light? What could that ultimate light be? Go ahead and take out that zine and make another drawing or comment it below. I wonder what that might be. And finally, for our third question, I'm wondering, how many different type of lights can you think of? Can you name, and of course, can you doodle? I want to see the best doodlers, the best lights that you can think of, and put them right here, and then even take a picture of your whole page and comment it in the chat so we can share with one another and see all of the things we would speak into existence, the truest form of light, and of course, all the different lights that we can imagine. So now that we've heard the story of God, it's time for you to tell your own story. And to give you an example of how we're going to do that, you can go ahead and turn to page 18, where we're actually going to draw our own comic. In fact, we could retell the story of God bringing the light into the world, or Jesus as the light in the world coming at Christmas. And we can fill in all of these blank pages just like we saw. And then once you're done, snap a picture of it and send it into the chat so we can show them off next week in our Comfy Church video for Advent number 2. Now, in order to tell another kind of story and maybe give you some inspiration, I'm going to throw it over to Parker to tell us the story of her experience with the light and the hope that comes with it.
So now you're going to turn in your zine and there will be a space to tell a story about light. And this can be any type of light you want. I'm going to tell a story right now about hiking and how important light can be when you're hiking and it gets dark outside. One time I was hiking with 2 friends and we were on a long day hike. And we didn't make it off of the trail before it got dark. But that was okay because 2 of us had headlamps and we figured between the 2 of us we could light the trail for our whole group. But about 15 minutes into our night hike, my headlamp mysteriously stopped working. And so then we were stuck. 3 people, 1 light. And so my friend with the headlamp that worked had to get in front and go really slow. And then my other friend was behind her, following her footsteps, even though she couldn't see very well. And I was behind that friend, following her footsteps, even though I couldn't see very well. And we got out, and it was just amazing how this one little light could help not just her, but through that, she was able to help all of us. So for our craft this morning, we are going to make paper lanterns. Now all you need to make this is construction paper, scissors, and some sort of glue or tape or even a stapler will work. So what you're going to do is take your piece of paper and cut off a strip, just about this wide. And then you're going to take the rest and fold it in half. Take your scissors again and start making little cuts, but see how I didn't go all the way to, you're not going to cut these off. You're just going to cut into the paper most of the way. And you're going to do this all the way across this sheet. So when you're done, you'll have something that looks a little bit like this. Now you're going to open this sheet up like this and staple or glue your pieces right here. And then when you're done, you will take your strip of paper and glue it to the top like a handle, And then you can decorate this, you can put glitter on this or stickers or whatever you want, and you can put a flashlight or some sort of light under it. If you have permission and you're with your parents, you could also put a small candle, but be careful because of course you can light paper on fire pretty easily.
Thanks so much for joining us for this week's service. I hope you're like me and you had a ton of fun and can't wait till next week's Comfy Church. This Advent season is going to be the best one yet. So keep logging on, keep checking in with us, and as always, keep it holy, but keep it comfy.